I have some interesting information tonight. I think it's critical foundation understandings that we must incorporate into our understanding of this big picture. One is about the date 1776, and there was a post that came out, and I want to just discuss that because it's a fascinating idea that everything changed in 1776 and not for the good. I'm not saying that we are not completely transforming ourselves now. I think now we've already shifted into another frequency. There's also another article. These are just things that I found in my looking around on X. The other was about the the black mobility, the Nudrangata, these 13 bloodline families. And I've often wondered why Q mentions Godfather 3 and why that is so foundational to this understanding of what we're going through right now. But this article, and I'm not going to read the whole thing because it's quite long, really lays it out. For me, I was thinking, well, there's some demonic forces, and then there's the mafia, and there's the Vatican, there's the city of London, and they're all kind of separate. But no, this article really pins it down and helps me understand that the mafia, these illicit bloodline families, are behind it all, in a sense. I mean, and I'm sure there are higher ups higher than them as well. All this is I'm weaving this into what I think is a huge shift that's taking place. Just want to mention Brian Best, Coffee the Best, spiritualbeingcoffee.com. Go on there, order some coffee. He roasted himself in very small batches. He's a master. Oh my gosh, copper, yeah. But this thing about the mafia and the fallen ones, and the fallen angels, and Tartaria. I'm gonna be looking at the historical underpinnings of this whole transformation that we are going through from dark to light. I also want to just say that tomorrow Big Bird will not be coming on, but I will continue to do a show uh, um, dedicated solely to crypto. And I have some things that about what things you might want to be investing in. But I'm going to be doing Tuesday and continue Tuesday, whether Big Bird is there or not. Actually, Big Bird is sending me a lot of information to help me do the show because he is involved with celebrating both his son and in an aspect somebody that he knew from that a fallen soldier. I mean, it's he's a very deep dude. And somebody asked me, where can we see Big Bird? And the only place you can see Big Bird is on my channel because I was the first one to ask him. Just I met him and I was just so blown away by his presence and his information. And we spent a couple of conversations on the phone talking about crypto, and it was like, wow, I got to have this guy on. And this idea that the people that are impressive are not always in a position of great power. They're not always senators. They're not always experts from Harvard. They could be regular folks, yet they have like I have Shelby on doing Ascension. Shelby is, in my opinion, she's an ascended being. She lives to do for others. And so Is she world famous? I No, she had her own show for a while, but this is an opportunity that I have as a content creator to prepare. It's going to get crazy. I don't think so. I don't see that. I don't think it's going to get crazy. I really don't. I think we're in a natural transition that will seem quite normal. It's This is a continuity of governance operation. It's a military operation. I don't, maybe your definition of things getting crazy is different from mine, but I'm not thinking about EBSs or the stock market crashing, or I don't think any of those things are really pertinent or important to this transformation of human consciousness. That's really what it's about, and it begins with you and I. It's not that nothing that's going to happen outside of our understanding, of our intelligence, of our heartfelt connection to all that is. That's what it's all about, in my opinion. It's the Great Awakening. It's not the Great Show. That's just my opinion. But I'm going to show you some very interesting historical underpinnings that draw this whole story together. And again, I am looking forward to an incredible. I think we're already there. I feel vibrationally different than I did a couple of weeks ago. I feel like a new person, and I think that's shared amongst my community up here, that we feel like we're in a very good spot. Crypto is going up. Yes, I think that's important. Will it go to the moon next Thursday? I don't know. I hope it does, but it's not important. What's important in the long run is that we come to an understanding of what this is all about, and that we use that information to elevate our own personal experiences, in my opinion. Not to say that, a student of the tree 63, not to say that there could be, it could be a nuanced thing. Like when you say things are going to get crazy, yes, there's no doubt about it. They're arresting, they're convicting a lot of these bad actors, pedophiles, and hardened criminals, via Trump's brilliant way of using AI to track and trace and root out evil through the communication platforms that they thought was above analysis, because the criminal organization is so deeply rooted, and they've been very clever about it. But at the end of the day, AI can sniff out bad actors with incredible efficiency. An absolutely monstrous cup of coffee. Daniela has outdone herself once again. Touch of honey, chocolate, what else? Cinnamons, what? Butter, cream. I mean, and Brian Best's coffee. Is this the Costa Rican coffee? Skywalker. Sky. If you've never tasted Skywalker coffee from Brian's Coffee Skywalker, you may want to give it a try. It's a light roast, but it is transformative. Again, we're using the X2O water machine, so we're hydrating ourselves with light. We're putting light directly into our system. If you're interested in checking that out, I believe that Dr. Stacy's back in the States now. Is she back home now? She's home. So if you wanna reach out to Dr. Stacy and get one of these X2O machines, they are in our mind, transformative as well. That it puts hydrogenated water, removes the microplastics and all the impurities, and it infuses 6 wavelengths of light directly into the water, which goes right into your cells. It's an amazing technology. So I highly recommend you reach out to Dr. Stacy, as are the patches. The patches are a little more, quite a bit more affordable, but they use light technology. They use quantum technology, not they don't put anything into your body. They simply reflect your own energy back through into your skin to do amazing things. Like this is actually a glutathione patch, I believe, and glutathione is a master antioxidant. All the antioxidants need glutathione to function. So for detoxing and that kind of thing, it's tremendous. And I'm religious about. I always have X39, which stimulates your own stem cells to reproduce and circulate throughout your body and heal whatever needs to be healed in the way that they feel. Is, like if you say, well, I want you to go to my left toe, I'm really, it may go to your heart first. The stem cells certainly know how to heal your body. Okay, so let's go to some of this information. It's going to get crazy. Yeah, it could be a nuanced thing what you're explaining, student of the trees 63. Maybe, maybe on some level of reality that could be considered crazy, but I don't see things in terms of, like, like the disclosure, like, I mean, we're seeing more and more strange vehicles at night, but I don't see anything. I think, in other words, just like McGillis Esther, the miracles are taking place within nature. I don't believe that nature is going to break itself, but in the at the same hand, or the same token, the 6,000 patents are coming forth, all butter and coffee. Yeah, it's great. We saw green lights in the sky last night, which were a little bit different than what we usually see. So things are happening. Also, we're not. Please God, it continues. We're not seeing chemtrails. We're seeing big puffy clouds. We're coming into monsoon season, so we're really. I personally believe that the desert is going to be transformed into a beautiful, lush garden of we actually spent an hour or two hiking in the mountains today, and it was, even doing that is just, it's joyful, and it's hard to walk in the mountains of the Mojave when the sun is shining, but we had a great time. Okay, without further ado, let me go to this first post, because I think this piece of information is, it's not something that I've come to. Oh, I get it now. It's like, it's a little bit out there even for me, but it makes a kind of sense that is, really stunning. I think, if it's at all true, and that's the year 1776, right? 1776, the Constitution was written, the Revolutionary War, all this. So here's a very different take on 1776 that I think is important. Yeah, call Dr. Stacy and check out the water machine. Let's remove this for now. Oh, do you get the Wi-Fi thing? Oh, what is the special? There's a special going on now. I think if you order the YH patches, which is glutathione, carnosine, and eon, tremendous patches, and it's less expensive than X39. You get a Silent Nights patch for free. So and it ends on the 28th of June. So if you're interested in the YH patch, which it's a trio of patches that is transformative: glutathione, carnosine, and eon, which removes inflammation, you will get a Silent Nights patch, a package of Silent Nights for free. So that's pretty exciting till the 28th of June. Daniela has me on a time clock. I have to drink this in a certain amount of minutes to make her happy. Happy wife, happy life, that sort of thing, right? Okay, so let's go to this. I'll take this off for now, but do contact Dr. Stacy. You won't regret it. Okay, now let's go to this post. Okay, it is this first one. Yeah, it is the first one. I thought I had it keyed up. Oh, that's the second one. Okay, I'm gonna have. Well, let me just go to this right here, and then go to here, and then okay, here we go. This is a fascinating piece of information, and it's a rabbit hole that I haven't fully come to understand, but it rings, it resonates with a feeling that could it be? Because we struggle to incorporate the idea of Tartaria into our understanding of history. This may be the a kind of a nuanced piece of information that puts everything else into context. Okay, so here we go. Not only did they erase Tartaria, 1776 was the year that everything changed. Just like I was watching this thing about 2012 and the looking glass technology, how it was the end of it for the bad guys. Okay, so we have been told that 1776 was the birth of freedom, but in reality, it was the death of a civilization. The year the world was hijacked, the ascent of the hidden hand. And I'm going to get into this. I'm going to there's another post that is like brilliant posts that don't always come out about the mafia and about the black nobility. And this ties in directly with that because this is a huge picture. We're coming to the end of this era. But anyway, in 1776, the Illuminati was founded in Bavaria. The Rothschild banking empire began its global expansion. The American Revolution broke out. Tartaria began to disappear from the maps. All in the same year. Coincidence? Tartaria was not a myth. It was a vast ancient civilization with advanced free energy technology, great architecture using sacred geometry, a harmonious way of living with the natural law, knowledge of the ether. It was all erased from the history books. They buried Tartaria literally with mud floods, natural disasters, and a new history. This ties into the Cabbage Patch theories that we've been talking about. Then came the World's Fairs showing huge temporary buildings that they claimed to have built in 2 years. Remember the Chicago World's Fair? That a lot of the, if you watch this, there's a great show on X called, I think it's called My Lunch something about Tartaria, but the guy does a brilliant, what is it? My Lunch Break. It's called My Lunch Break, and the gentleman does an amazingly stimulating and fascinating retracing of the history. I don't want to go into it too deeply right now, but all the buildings and all the towns throughout America and throughout the world that have these churches with frequency maps on the outside and towers like anode and cathode free energy. It's bell towers, architecture that is beyond anything a bunch of farmers could have done in the 1800s. This was a vast civilization that was erased by these creepazoids. So once the old world was buried, literally buried with these mud floods, They created the new central banks, debt slavery, maritime law, artificial scarcity, indoctrination through education. That's why people like you and me hated school. I mean, I was fairly successful. I wasn't like a, I wasn't like a straight A student, but I did okay. But I hated every minute of it because for us to be indoctrinated is very painful. We're freedom bound. So all this is financed by the same families. And I'm going to get to this with the next post. They're saying the Rothschilds not only finance empires, they financed restarts and erased everything that did not serve the control system. Tartaria was too free, too advanced, too powerful. So they reversed it all. Free energy became fossil fuel. The truth became a conspiracy. The spirit became a religion. Nature has become a resource. Freedom became an illusion. 1776 wasn't the beginning, it was the cover up. We are the generation that rediscovered what they tried to erase. Tartaria was real, the ether is real, and the truth is no longer hidden. Amazing information, amazing. This and this. Okay, I just have to. Oh, I need the charger, babe. The this just juxtaposition of, like, there are 4 posts that I discovered in a time period of like 5 minutes. These 4 posts really, to me, represent some of the biggest mysteries, like the Tower of Babel. Why? Why would a god destroy the Tower of Babel? Because the people were working together. They had one language. Why would God, just like why would God kick Adam and Eve out of the Garden of Eden because they ate from the fruit of the tree of knowledge a few minutes? That's what they say in mystic Yiddishkeit. A few minutes before Shabbos was supposed to come in, and for that they were thrown out of the Garden of Eden. Eve suffered from childbirth. We had to pick our living from the. It just became a nightmare. But it's hard for me to understand that why. If God, the concept I have of God as a benevolent force, why would a benevolent force kick out Adam and Eve for eating from the tree of knowledge? And it says it's because if they eat from the tree of life, they will be gods like us. Now, that doesn't sound like God to me. That sounds like the Nephilim, the fallen ones, these evil angels. Anyway, that's another subject. I'm not going to get into that. But I do think this idea that 1776 could have been the time when everything went down. So now I'm going to, and of course, we who have been misled want to believe it's the Rockefellers, it is the Rockefellers. It's the Rothschilds. Yes, indeed. No question about it. It's the Orsinis, the Breakspears, but so in my mind, I'm thinking like, well, these are the really bad dudes on the town. The mafia is just like lightweight. But no, this next post that I'm going to share with you gives a fundamental analysis of the people involved at the highest level of this scourge, this plague on humanity, like the Holocaust, like the vaccine Holocaust. These people orchestrate these kinds of events in order to destroy and depopulate and control humanity. So let me go to this next post, and we'll go back to the Tower of Babel, because I think it's a fascinating, when you see the picture in the context of its size compared to the normal buildings we see. It is colossal. But let's go down to to this other post. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I think it's important that we understand this is the trafficking empire, which is another one of these posts that is just 100+ victims rescued. They've been arresting people because the AI is now working in our favor. Here's another post that I want to add. The Sirius B oceanic intelligence networks have begun a systematic download of uncorrupted planetary history directly into the human collective subconsciousness. The mass data retrieval bypasses controlled information nodes, sparking sudden historical clarity and acute intuitive. Let's just see the end of this post, because this is right, very much in alignment with everything that I'm. Oh, okay. So that was it. So with discernment and acute discernment. Okay. So the galactics, if and I believe this particular channel. Let's see. It is called Galactic Federation. Oh, wait a minute. Hold it. Galactic Federation. I think is they're putting out information that rocks. It just rocks, man. You can feel it. They're talking about this huge change in the way of being, that and let's look back to the idea of the looking glass technology. Have a little cold water. Looking glass technology, that they found out that all roads lead to the freedom and the great awakening. And that when the bad guys heard this, they started the CERN accelerator. They tried to rewrite our destiny with their evil attempts at readjusting the timelines and the players. When you live in the desert, you can't. You basically don't sip water; you gulp it. Maybe he did. Maybe the serpent wanted me to believe. Um, yeah, I don't know. We'll go into that peppermint patty some other time. I mean, I've mentioned it through. I've been mentioning the Genesis and a lot of the things in the Torah, in the Old Testament, and I for I'm sorry, I'm not going. Okay, I don't need to go there right now. Okay, so the thing that I wanted to go, and so holy smokes, FBI Director Kash Patel reveals 3 million pedophile accounts on the TOR network were taken down. 3 million accounts, man. Nearly 100% surge in child predatory arrests. So it is happening. This is all happening. The dam just broke in Minnesota, and it's uglier than anyone imagined. That's about all the corruption. But now I want to go to this. Holy crap, President Trump dropped a nuke on the entire Federal Reserve and every Democrat who thought they were safely installed. And he's talking about the auto pen. Everything is coming out. There's no question. But here I'm going to present you with some information that I find mind-boggling, and it fits in very neatly with the destruction of Tartaria and explains how the mafia and these black nobility cartel families fit into the big framework of what we are dealing with here. It's a fascinating thing. I just have to stop sharing for a minute. Let's go here. Let's go to here. I'm not. I don't think we're going to want to read the whole thing, but I want to give you the flavor of this, because this is a fascinating account. This is a fascinating analysis in real time of how the illicit families, the 13 bloodline families, the black nobility, yes, the Rockefellers are involved. They're actually probably called Orsini. They're all, but just get a taste of this. And by the way, the mention of the Ndrangheta, The Ndrangheta are an organization, from my understanding, and there's not a lot of information out there on the Ndrangheta, but the Ndrangheta are based in Calabria, Italy, and apparently they have within their ranks, within their organization, some kind of a, maybe it's the 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 300, the meeting of 300, but this is the family and their organization that control the politics on the planet. You thought we all thought we were going to elect her. It's totally beyond our control. And that fits in with this analysis of 1776, that this is when our freedoms were completely destroyed, and Tartaria, a highly advanced civilization, began their began to be hidden, and the hidden hand, these Ndrangheta, these mafioso cartel, parasitic, devil worshipping cults started to take over the planet. So let's just read a little bit of this just to get a flavor, and also incorporate the idea that Q wanted us to watch Godfather 3 for a reason. Because in Godfather 3, it becomes apparent that the mafia is not just a bunch of killers that meet in pizza parlors and arrange for the death of their rivals, that this is a highly sophisticated, organized crime family that runs the Vatican, the City of London, Washington, D.C., and the world. The depths of this criminal organization and their reach, it's like a hydra. They are woven into the fabric and underpinnings of everything in society. So I didn't really understand the connection between the mafia and the as Brian Cates calls it, the the pirate club, the the transnational criminal cartel that runs the world. But I'm going to delve into a bit of an explanation of how it's connected. The black nobility house of Gaetani, the deceptive and demonic tribe of Lucifer, Gaetani, officially founded in the 12th century. Again, dates we don't know, during the so-called Italian Renaissance. Maybe the Italian Renaissance was just Tartaria, and we don't know. The Gaetani family is one of the most sick and twisted satanic bloodlines of the black nobility, and are part owners of numerous European mafias. The family genealogy unofficially traces them back to the tribes of Getae of the Black Sea region, which moved into Rome during the Moorish invasion and established the Duchy of Gaeta. The Gaeta tribes were originally from the Meso forgive my pronunciation, clan of Scythia, who were involved in child and animal sacrifices, cannibalism, pedophilia, adrenochrome harvesting, demonism, and black magic rituals. Why would the Old Testament, there is a whole book called Leviticus, the third book of the Old Testament, is all about how to sacrifice animals correctly. And we look at this as holy of holies. Why would Christianity center around the sacrifice of the Son of God? Why, I'm just saying, this we have to grow up. We have to be able to examine every aspect of our culture and put it through the truth test. Does this make sense? Okay, the gated tribes. Okay, so the Mesitagi, the Macetegans, Taka, I can't pronounce this, were an Eastern Iranian Saka clan who inhabited the steppes of Central Asia and were part of the wider Scythian cultures. And this, of course, goes into the Khazarian mafia, but it's far deeper and worse. These Mesogete rose to power between, excuse my, I don't know the pronunciation, between the 8th and 7th century BC. However, according to occult researcher David Icke, the highest level Luciferian black nobility families, the Aldobrandini, Colonna, Farnese, Orsini, Este, Gaetani, etc., are supposedly descended from the Anunnaki kingships and priesthood who ruled over Sumer, Babylonia, and Egypt by force thousands of years ago. You see how deep this is? You see how and put that together with 1776 when they totally took over the entire globe. If they weren't in power already, they are capable of deep changes to their structures and to their outward appearance, that the things they emphasize, the people they support. They're not above somebody like Tucker Carlson of making someone look like he's the opposition when he's really working for this illicit black nobility. Go, not sip in the Mojave. Okay. um, Prince Bonifacio Gaetani di Aguila di Aractona is a member of this twisted black magic family and is married to the billionaire Ginevra Elkin of the Agnil Elkin family. The Gaetani family are part owners of the Gambino crime families through the Italian Gotti family. Gotti means Goth in the old Germanic language, and the Gothic tribes were often connected with the Geti tribes, the great tribes of Gotland, which is Sweden's largest settled island today. The Gothic and Geti tribes have been intermixed with each other for millennia. The Gaetani family was established by Geti Grammy family of Lombardy and northern Italy, likely through a marriage with the Gotti family. The earliest documented Gotti was Vincenzo Gotti, from northern Italy during the 16th century, who migrated to Rome and then to Naples. John Gotti works under the Gaetanis, and also works under the Gambino crime family of New York. Prince Gianluigi Gaetani di Aragonia is a member of the Naples branch of the Gaetani crime family and the consul to South Africa. Prince Geraldo Federigo Gaetani di Aguilo di Aragonia is a high-level member of the Gaetanis. The Gaetani di Aragonia Levitelli family are owners of the Philly mob with Joey Marlino as boss. Philadelphia is nicknamed the city of brotherly love, similar to Levitelli. Brotherly love refers to homosexuality, which is common in prisons. Gangsters use rape to dominate over other men. That is what faggotry really means. I mean, this is, even if it's like slightly true, this is worth understanding. And I'm not tired of reading this right now. The Gaetani family produced the popes, Pope Gelasius the second, Giovanni Kitani, a Pope Benefice the seventh, Benedato Gaetani. Pope Benefico the seventh was taken out of power for opposing the French monarch, which was allied with the Colonna family of Rome. The Gaetani family have often been conflicted with the other families of the black nobility. The black nobility have run the foreign monarchs as proxies, which they use against their rivals. So we have been calling this all reptilian. Okay, it could be associated with reptiles, particularly when you look at the story of the Garden of Eden. However, under that force, we're looking at these fallen angel families. The black nobility has run foreign monarchs as proxies, which they use against their rivals. In more recent centuries, the Gaetani family have married in with the House of Colonna. The family had been the Dukes of Simonetta in Lazio, Italy. The family gained more power by marrying with the Argonia family of Spain, who ruled in Sicily, establishing the Gaetani di Argona name, Argonia. They became the Dukes of Lorenza, a town in southern Italy. The Gaetani had two marriages with the Canossa family in northern Italy and have an allegiance with the Carnossas today. Marquis Sigfredo di Carnoso is a current head of this family, and his wife, Gila Gaetani di Aguila di Argonia, are anyway. This Onorato Gaetani was a mayor in Rome in the 1800s, and Prince Michelangelo Gaetani was governor of Rome and gained more power by supporting the House of Savoy. Okay, this just goes on and on. I find it fascinating. I hope you're not bored with this. But Michelangelo's daughter established the Gaetani di Argonia Levitelli family branch today, with Prince Raffaello Gaetani di Argonia Levitelli and Prince Galacio Gaetani di Argonia Levitelli. Okay, so I'm just going to summarize it. This prince refers to himself as the Wizard of Wine, and he is involved in trafficking of adrenochrome and human blood to nobility across Europe. I mean, do you see how sick this is? Prince Gaetani was a minister of foreign affairs in Italy during the 20th century, and his son, Prince Leone Gaetani, worked in the Italian government and traveled to the Middle East, making various political and criminal connections. Leone's mother was Lady Constance and Adela Butis Wilbraham of British nobility, and Leone later moved to Canada. The Ndrangheta crime syndicate has large operations in Canada. The Ndrangheta, this is the branch of these crime families that, from my understanding, they literally run the politics worldwide. They decide who gets elected, they decide what happens, and all of this is unraveling in real time thanks to AI and the White Hats and this operation of governance, this continuity of governments, this incredible White Hat operation that is destroying the power brokers of the world as we speak. So the Catanios own the Azerbaijani mafias, which specialize in kidnapping and extortion. The Cattaneo family of Naples are covert managers of the Ndrangheta and Camorra. The House of Gaetani has part shares in the businesses of the Caltagirone family, with Francisco Gaetano Caltagirone worth over $2 billion. These families, the Cementier Holdings, who run subordinates involved with international cement production and a large operation in Scandinavia. Okay, so and it just goes on and on. But the Catano family, the Genesee bankers, the Genesi, the Genesi bankers, the Italian mafia has been continually connected with concrete, cement, and construction companies. They use these businesses to dispose of bodies, and also they can construct hidden ways to infiltrate into buildings for espionage, assassinations, and extortion. Around 2013, there were dozens of suicides of bankers. The Italian mafia was throwing bankers off of buildings to cover up international banking scandals, which included the 2014 Libor scandal. Mafias often build banks and business buildings with secret underground entrances. In Italy, the Ndrangheta have constructed entire towns with hidden passages underneath. And we know about the DUMS, we know about the child trafficking, we know about the adrenochrome production, all this underground bunkers and tunnels for hiding out, escaping, and storing drugs, weapons, and contraband. Michel Zagaria, the top boss for Camorra, was and was found hiding in a reinforced bunker under his home. Ndrangheta boss Francesco Pesca was found living in a bunker underneath a junkyard, was equipped with high-tech surveillance and a trapdoor. The Gattani family are top management and command over the international Ndrangheta clans and manage gatekeepers, which protect the black nobility family, Vatican elite, and high-level mafias. They also manage gatekeepers for Switzerland and the Bank of International Settlement, which is financing their criminal agendas and their attempt at establishing the Luciferian New World Order with the other Luciferian black nobility families. The current representative over the House of Gattani is Don Bonifacio Gattani del Aguila de Argonia, Duke of Lorenzana. But this is this is information that is is unavailable to us peons. We don't know. We think it's Nancy Pelosi, who was also a mafioso. That it's these it's just like this weaving these branches of pedophilic criminal politicians, but it's all woven together. This is one big Luciferian cult that is coming now, in my opinion, to an end. And the freedom of humanity and the freedom from this banking system, from the oil markets, the destruction of our children through education, and 8 million kids go missing a year. All this is arranged by these black cartels. How that fits in with reptilian, I don't know, but that's something that we will explore later. But surely you can see that Tartaria was eliminated, or the beginning of the this elimination was could have been 1776, which they portray as a day of freedom. It may have been just the opposite. It may have been the day that they started full force in the destruction of Tartaria. Very interesting information. I'll go to this other post about the Tower of Babel, which is also mystifying, but they're arresting people. People are going down. If you know why the inhabitants during the Tower of Babel period spoke, did you know why the inhabitants during the Tower of Babel period spoke only one language? Because they were the breakaway civilization that survived the geophysical event. The next global language after the event will likely be English or Chinese. Okay, so I'm just going to go into this a bit because I think this fits in with a lot of the questions that we're coming up with as a community into what the hell is going on. Okay, so let me stop sharing for a moment. Let me go to here, and expand this. We could watch this video together. Let's watch this video together, okay? Let's see if we can pull that off. Oh, except I would have to get the sound. Can I get the sound drag to move? Okay, let me just read this first. Did you know why the inhabitants, okay, during the Tower of Babel period spoke? Okay, fun fact, the Book of Jubilees mentions that the tower's height was 5,433 cubits and 2 palms, which is approximately 2.48 kilometers, 8,150 feet, or about 1.5 miles. It also says that it took 43 years to build. I made a little simulation showing what the Tower of Babel would look like in today's city. Okay, so let's stop sharing for a minute. Let's go to this little video so we can get a sense of the size. Eiffel Tower, okay? That's the World Trade Center. The Tower of Babel. Unbelievable masterpiece. Okay, so let's go to the stop sharing now. Let me go back here. So going back to our questions, and again, these are questions. Chemex, yeah, Chemex is involved with these illicit companies. I used to use a Chemex coffee filter, and Danielle was like, "We got to get rid of this." But okay, so wow, such deep. It is profound. But now let's just for a moment think about the Tower of Babel's story. God didn't like that the people. God, let me repeat this again. God didn't like that the people were all unified and that they spoke one language. So he destroyed the Tower of Babel and made it so that we have all different languages so we can't understand each other. Does that sound like God to you? I don't know. I'm just asking the question. Does it sound like God to you that would kick us out of the Garden of Eden because we ate of the tree of knowledge, encouraged by the snake? I mean, all these questions, these are just questions. And the Nephilim, the fallen ones, the fallen angels who mated with the beautiful maidens of the earth, these families. And then there's the question of Cain from the Bible. Cain did not look like his brother Abel. Cain had scales. Cain was a murderer. I mean, are you guys getting? Do you see these kind of like none of these rabbit holes at this point make sense? And it reminds me of when I discovered the Dumbs. This was maybe 5, 6, 7 years ago. I started reading Gene Decode and looking at the Dumbs channel on Telegram, and I was just like, what? You mean there's a whole civilization underground with high-speed trains and 8 million children go missing a year? Do you see how gigantic this movement is, and how the hidden hand has? Was that thunder? Maybe it's an airplane. And how they have dominated our every thought. And we are freeing ourselves now from this incredible criminal enterprise that may be part of our religions, may be part of our culture, and so forth. So I think this, you know, I always talk about Joe Rogan. I mean, I don't know why, Joe Rogan gets millions of hits and we don't, because I think this information, without having very impressive, I don't have a lot of, I don't have the money behind me, though, whatever. And I don't mean to compete with Joe Rogan. I'm sure he does a nice job. I don't really listen to him, but the depth of these questions here is beyond, is beyond. So yeah. Okay. So anyway, that's my little hype for today. You have a fantastic memory. Maybe he did. Maybe that the serpent wanted me to believe. Um, yeah. This is very deep stuff, and it's leading to the question of, are the religions kosher? Are is our history is complete fabrication? Our lives, I don't know. We live up here. We live in the Mojave Desert, and it's a place where we can collect our thoughts to some degree. We're able to think straight because there's not a lot of distraction other than the internet, which we frequent a lot. But there's some big questions here, man. I mean, and the Q says the end is not for everyone. Are people going to be able to handle even the idea that like, would a religious person be able to handle the idea that their religion is it's made a bunch of gobbledygook to indoctrinate people and to shame them into feeling a certain way? I mean, will your ordinary rank and file humans be able to handle such things? I don't know. But the good news is that at the end of the day, we are walking proudly. My Rebbe said that when we leave Gullus, when we leave the exile, the exodus, when we leave the exile, we will do so. We will walk. We won't be running. We'll be walking with our heads held high, and we'll just walk into the future. And I believe for a lot of us in this community, that is exactly what's happening right now. We are walking with our heads held high. We are not looking back. We are not trying to recreate the past. We are understanding that everything is in the now. Sounds like a serpent to me. Yeah, but the like in the Garden of Eden story, it sounds to me like the serpent is the good guy. I mean, he wants Adam and Eve to eat from the tree of knowledge. Is that? I mean, we just immediately assume that's so evil. Why would he do that? But when you think about it, and why would God say it's not a good idea? Because they'll eat from the tree of life and then they'll live forever and they'll be just like us. Why would God say that? I mean, think about it. Now, the Old Testament, the story of Genesis, is the beginning of all three major religions. The Quran starts with the book of Genesis. Christianity starts with the book of Genesis. Judaism starts and ends starts with the book of Genesis. All three of these major religions start with these basic stories. Is it possible that this whole synthesis of information about religion was designed to indoctrinate us away from our Tartarian roots, our Pleiadian roots, as my friend James says? We're all Pleiadians. We're all Tartarians. We're all from a highly sophisticated, advanced structure, and we got sucked into this. They made clones out of us, and they destroyed all the elders, and we got shipped as Cabbage Patch babies in the early 1800s. All this destruction went down, and they've been destroying. The wars, besides being satanic events, are designed to destroy as many of these magnificent buildings as possible. They're trying to, destroy the evidence, but the evidence still remains. In their arrogance, the Freemasons that freely took all these beautiful Tartarian buildings could be, uh, and indoctrinated and enslaved the world. Their time is up. We're coming into the Great Awakening, so this is a cause for celebration. Yeah, it could be grassroots. I mean, I don't know. I was told by my director, my Abishter, the conductor who conducts my life, that I was to become, I was to become an Orthodox Yid. That my guides told me that humanity will expect me to understand and be Jewish. That will be an important part of my pathway. I'm now really happy that I learned so much, because it's right on my fingertips. I mean, I spent 25 years talking about nothing else, but until COVID came along, and then I started to say, well, wait a minute, you guys, you really, you think it's okay to get vaccinated? Really, you think? Um, and I lost, and my guides told me, or the director of my life said, it's time for you to go now. You have to go. And this is where I ended up. And it's beautiful. I do want to say this. I thought that this is a kind of a non sequitur, but I want to say that if you're careful and you really shop around, you want to get meat. This is a very different subject, but you want to get meat that has not been injected. That's affordable, where I read an article today that said meat is so expensive. Well, if you're eating sirloin steaks and you're eating rib roasts, and so, yes, it's expensive. But if you carefully pick and choose your roasts, the types of things you eat. We, for example, eat a lot of skirt steaks from, on the West Coast. There's a place called Sprouts, and they sell these skirt steaks. So between that and frozen wild caught salmon that you can buy at a place called Smith's for like $7 for like a pound of salmon, wild caught salmon, you can live quite affordably. However, I want to mention one thing that I think, and I've mentioned this on the Health Channel, but people should know that in America, at least in America specifically, the ranchers here, the ranchers that never inject their cattle, the ranchers who never put antibiotics into their cows, into their steers. These ranchers buy calves, and the people who raise the calves inject their calves with something called black leg vaccine and boosters. So you could be like me. You could be thinking, wow, man, I only eat the purest meat. It's never been injected, no antibiotics, all that cool stuff. And yet, but on a technicality, these people are shooting up the calves before the ranchers own them. So the rancher can correctly say, I never inject my animals with any chemicals, any antibiotics. However, their calves come already pre-injected. This is the diabolic, Luciferian, disgusting Ndrangheta, black nobility, Luciferian cult that we are fighting. This is we are coming into our own. We are coming into a vibrational frequency where these people will not be able to exist. They will be arrested. They will be taken out. When is it happening? This is a very big operation. If you think, well, let's just get it over with. What's President Trump really doing? What's it taking so long? If you are saying stupid shit like that, you need to think about what this broadcast just went through in terms of the depths and the sickness and the interwoven nature of evil into into our enslavement. So yes, we're coming into the promised land, and nothing can stop what's coming. And Q saved us from blind faith, saved me from the Orthodox world. And I to this day I miss it. I loved it. It's a beautiful way of life. However, I cannot live with lies. And I'm not saying that I know that Torah is a lie. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that there are some serious questions here in the narration. Some serious questions. I could go into a whole bunch of them. I'm not going to. But I think what's important is that the farmers here don't vaccinate because they raise their own cattle. They have cows give birth in the pasture. That may be, but the original cows may still, the original calves that they bred still may come. I mean, that's true here as well. But I've spoken to several serious ranchers, and they do admit that the calves, yes, the calves are born free and born without vaccines, but there had to be an original calf bought by the rancher at some point. The cows are just not natural, and it's something that should not be taking place and should be noticed. And as soon as we as a community start to speak out about these kinds of swindles, they will take care of this, just like with the chemtrails. The chemtrails didn't disappear until everyone on X started screaming about the chemtrails. And this goes to my point that I know you guys are tired of hearing, but that this awakening is not a gift from above. It is a gift to yourself, that you become who you really were meant to be. But if we don't complain, yes, it could be that you all the calves that you're ever going to eat are pure. That could very well be that it goes back hundreds of years, that the rancher hasn't bought a new calf in 100 years. That could very well be. I don't know. I doubt it. I really doubt it. And I think these things cannot just be, oh, well, because that's what they want us to believe. The cows are fine. They don't inject their cows. The people who they buy the cows from do, but that's not them. This is a swindle, and this is typical of this Luciferian cult that's running the world. And until we wake up to every aspect of their criminal behavior, we won't be able to move on. So I don't know. That's my opinion. I don't think we should give them a pass. There are a lot of ranchers out here that have had ranch cows for hundreds of years, but there are a lot that not. And most of the meat that we're eating comes from calves that were injected for black leg disease. That's what I'm finding out. And I think people need to know that and need to start standing up and complaining about it to your local farmer. Does it mean I'm not going to eat meat anymore? No, I have to eat the meat. But now I understand that my farmers, who are pure as the driven snow, they're wonderful people. They don't inject their cows at all, ever. But the cows that they bought, there's a possibility that they did. This is the kind of thing we cannot take any of this at face value and just say, oh, it's okay, man. We'll give them the pass. It's okay. It's not. Just like the religions want you to just say, you can listen, you can question us, but you can't question the like. Okay, I don't want to get into it, but you guys get the message. This video is a very important video, and it didn't come directly for, it comes through divine providence. That just happened that these 4, 5, 6, 7 posts were all related to each other. The Nudrangata, They control the political world. A bunch of mafiosos who meet in a room. I think it's like the committee of 100 or something. They don't know each other's names, but they run the political class of the world. Okay, until we embrace these ideas, or at least consider the ideas. Like I said, if you're waiting for to be saved, you're waiting for a couple of crazy things, you're waiting for crypto to go up, it won't make a bit of difference. You'll just be a richer idiot. Okay? If you can't pick yourself up and transform yourself from a matrix slave into an independent thinking person, you could get all the money in the world and you'll just be a rich idiot. We have to ascend. Just my opinion. Take it as you will. Anyway, it was great. Thanks for putting up with me, and thanks for even considering these ideas. These are blasphemous ideas. 10 years ago, I don't think anyone would have been in a position to speak these publicly, to speak these ideas publicly. But now perhaps we've grown a bit, and perhaps we can. I don't know. But do consider, again, the shameless promotion that I undertake. Please do consider. Yeah, I hope you're right, James Flock. But I wouldn't bet a dollar on that opinion, that all your cows are all controlled by the ranchers. I don't think so. I think you need to do a little more research. My opinion. But maybe you live in a place where the cows have been the same cows. It doesn't make sense. I mean, in terms of breeding, in terms of the breed, to think that a rancher would have the same cows from 100 years ago, it's ridiculous. That's not true. It's just with all the inbreeding, the breeding, and the different species, it's the calves came from someplace. You had to start with a calf. I mean, I'm buying some animals. We're about to buy some different poultry animals, and we're doing a lot of research into what it is that we're looking for. We also don't want things that are shot up. But this is a huge movement that has to be echoed by a lot of people in order for us to really break free of the matrix. So yeah, let's just do a tune. Thank you, JD. I appreciate it, man. You're not JD uh from Prescott, are you? I had this friend JD who just whatever. Okay, I only met him. I met him once years ago at Brian's house. But anyway, I live in the UP with the farmer here. I buy one, the oldest in this area, and it's over 100 years old. It could be. It could be. God bless you. You're lucky. They say in Europe they don't deal with this issue. This is an American issue, so it very well could be. I don't doubt it. But people in America, we're fucked, man. These people are out of their minds. It's just like when I was in New York, I would buy I would pick up an organic package, and it would say, "We only use FDA approved pesticides." They're calling themselves organic. They only use FDA approved pesticides. That's supposed to make you feel good? This is a weird world, man. We got to wake up. Anyway, so let's Cabbage Patch calves, right? Yeah, it could be that in Europe they don't do this. It could very well be. I wouldn't be surprised. That's what I've heard. I don't want to go into it, but there's a very prominent person in this area who's a great meat seller, and he's from Europe, and he says it's disgusting what passes for uh, what passes in America. French farmers to vaccinate. Yeah, I know it's, but I don't know. We have to fight, guys. We can't just sit back and and just enjoy the transformation into the great awakening. We have to. we have to be vocal, we have to be loud, we have to say no to people. Just say, look, I can't justify buying your meat. It's you say it's not vaccinated, but and I think James is right. I don't think in Europe they have the same issue. But can everyone afford to grow their own? Like we're trying to really be our own farm here. There are a lot of issues. There's plastics involved also. There's everything. All the greenhouses are built with plastics now. We're trying to build our greenhouses with glass, but even the glass is framed in vinyl or plastic casing. So it's we need to just clean up the whole mess has to be cleaned up. But if you're expecting it to be cleaned up by July 4th, God bless you, man. I wish I could feel like you. All right, so let's do a tune. I'm going to play this I found this on Spotify, and I think the acoustics are much stronger than in the movie version.
Living in the city, I was paying down my bills. One flat tire and the whole thing went to hell. Credit cards for groceries, I'm deep in debt again. It's time to split this scene, walk with you, my friend. Leaving the matrix, heading for the promised land. They stole our money, but they couldn't stop the plan. Let's go together, playing with the band. Leaving the matrix, we're heading for the promised land. Taxes, your insurance I don't need. The medicines are killing us, hospitals grow like weeds. Moved into paradise, I don't need no gassy cars. Fake news, endless wars, a satanic legal bar. Leaving the matrix, heading for the promised land. They stole our money, but they couldn't stop the plan. Let's go together, playing with the band. Leaving the matrix, heading for the promised land. My friends all tell me I lost control. Left my wife and job just to run down rabbit holes. But I can tell you one thing about my fall. Where we go one, we go all. Leaving the matrix, heading for the promised land. They stole our money, but they couldn't stop the plan. Let's go together, playing with the band. Leaving the matrix, heading for the promised land. Leaving the matrix, the promised land.
Yeah. So anyway, that was. Let's see if I can come back as if I can get more a bigger picture. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not going to try it, but yeah. So there was a little more of a little more of a raw version of the song. I kind of like the guitars are much more raucous, and I kind of like that. It was missing the vocals. The backup vocals weren't there, but it's kind of, I don't know. I just, it's on some platform. What, you like it too? Yeah, I do too. I think it's more raw. It just, it's just like I really love the guitar playing in this. I mean, it just, because that riff, I worked on that riff for a long, long time, probably a year. That doom, 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 whatever. Anyway, so it's good to see you guys. Thanks for putting up with me. I mean, we had an adventure in thought, I think, tonight that was quite interesting. I don't know how to get out of this. Maybe if I go to double or this, will this work better? I don't know. I seem to be out of my own. Will this work? No, no. Okay, so all right, so whatever. So here we are. So enjoy. We are coming out of the matrix. It's not a done deal. I see the crypto going up. I'm thinking, okay, this is it. It is happening. There's no question it's happening, but we still have to fight. We still have to work on ourselves. We still have to, I'm talking about myself too. I have issues. We're living in a community, and things crop up that I have to examine. I have to look at myself and say, is this really where I want to be holding at this point? So this is an incredible opportunity. It's an incredible joy to be part of this movement and to have the knowledge that we do have, thanks to Q and others, and President Trump and all these great people who have come together to help us as a species. This is a species level transformation into becoming silicone crystal lattice, whatever it is, man. The galactics have our back, and probably we are all galactics. From, we're probably sent here. We probably trained for this mission for a long time, and it's a pleasure to be here with you guys. So use the force. You are the force. We've been robbed of our own understanding, of our own power, of our own destiny, of our own future, of our own abilities. But that time is coming to an end. Use source. You are part of source. You are a creative genius. And the part of you that might be a little bit weird, that's probably the part of you that is the greatest part of you ever. And the world wants to shut that part down, but that's exactly the part that makes you so special and so lovable and so important. So let's get out there with a big smile on your face. Tomorrow's Crypto Tuesday. And also I'll be on with Dr. Stacy at 3:30 Eastern Standard Time. So if you have any questions about the water machine, about these patches, and you feel too shy to call Dr. Stacy, come tomorrow at 3:30, and then tomorrow night we'll be doing a show just dedicated to information about crypto. So everybody should have a great night, and it's Leaving the Matrix available for purchase now. Support the channel, enjoy the vibe. Cool, man. Indeed, the rover. It's a real raw analog vibe. Yeah, I like it. I like the backup vocals, but I miss that that guitar feel. So I kind of and it's the sound quality is more. It's more varied in my opinion. But yeah, anyway, and also the video. It's a nice video, but it doesn't really. It's not. it's not real. It's nice. It's nice, but listen, the music business is not. Anyway, okay, so at any rate, use the force, use the source, appreciate love yourself, love what's different and unique and special about you, and let's get out there with a big smile on our face and rock the world.